Okay, so let's just check whether we've missed anything or not. Are we okay? So user logo, yes. Text for the web page needs to go in. Done that. Create the web page for the schedule. Just did that. And now move on to wildlife and landmark. Okay, fine. So let's have a look then. I think we're nearly done. We're in terms of content, we're done actually. We are done in terms of content. Now I just want to quickly talk about CSS a bit more because you might specifically want to adjust, I don't know, certain like styling attributes of whatever you've already styled. So let me just show you how you might change, for example, something about H1. Say you've applied H1 and you actually need it to be a bit bigger, or a different something different about it. You might want it to be italic or whatever. I don't know. So let's just go ahead and see how we can actually adjust that, even though we've applied H1 to it, but we want to change something about H1. So we can see H1 just made it bold, a bit larger, and it added like a paragraph break. You can't see it here, but that's what it does. So what we can do is go to when you go to the bottom properties area, you see HTML and then you see CSS. You click on CSS, and then what we do here is we pick a new CSS rule. We pick that, and then we go to edit rule. And then what we're going to do is choose something to edit. We're going to edit a tag. Okay, it's the easiest thing to do. Edit a tag, and then make sure you've got the right tag selected. There's loads of tags you can actually edit in HTML for this document. So we're going to select H1. And then we're just going to leave it as this document only and then go to OK. And then from here, you can specify what H1 will actually look like in this document and onwards. So say, for example, you wanted to change the size. Let's change to 36 and let's apply. Then it's made that larger, and that's fine. I'm happy with that. If for whatever reason you needed it to be like a different color or whatever, then you can also do that. So let me show you as an example. Black. So that's H1, and that is now black, and it is now size 36 and so on. If you want it to be even larger, then you know that you can actually just type the number yourself, and it makes it, or it should make it larger. It doesn't anyway, fail. Moving back, here we go. Let's leave it as 36. So you can do some additional adjustments to the tag formatting from here. I'm going to actually take it back to what it was before in terms of color, because it did say that to keep the text dark green, so I'm not going to change that. And I'm just going to click OK now that I've made that minor adjustment, and click OK. And that is now looking like that. If I just go to split view and go up here and show you what's happening. Before H1 was, it was just making the text bold and large, but now it's specifying font size is 36 and color is that. Okay, and that's because I was playing around with it. I can actually just change that now back to the default of the page, the color, beg your pardon, that I've specified for the whole page. So actually I don't need that here. It's only because I was playing around with it. So anyway, that will be enough, and you can see that it's fine as it is. So let me go ahead and actually leave this displayed, and I'm going to go to schedule now, which is here, and just double check what the heading format is, and it's heading 2. So what I'm going to do is adjust the rule for heading 2, and I'm just going to do something slightly different to it. I'm going to make it bigger as well. So again, you go to CSS, new rule, edit rule, change the tag. We want to change the tag, and then you make sure whatever tag you want to change is there, is displaying. If it's not, click on this and then pick whatever tag you need to adjust, and then you click OK. And then here you can go ahead and do similar adjusting like we did for H1. So you'll notice as soon as I have gone ahead to start making adjustments to what H2 looks like, it's actually gone ahead and it's prepared some CSS script up here. So it starts off by giving the name of the tag, and then it has an open and close curly brackets, and inside the open and close curly brackets you have the attributes and their values, attributes and values, attributes and values. Now there are loads of attributes. You've got font this, size that, color, you can change anything, color, size, the look, and then other things like having an underline and so on. There's loads you can do. All I'm going to do is change the size because I need it to be a bit larger than that. Let me change it to 24. Let me just apply that. So it's made it bigger. I'm a bit happier with that, and you can see that font size and then 24 appeared. So the syntax goes name of the attribute, colon, and then value, and then you do a semicolon, and then you just do the rest if you want to do the rest. So for example, let me change the style to italic. Let's just do that, and then apply. So it's now been made italic there, and you can see here that font style, that's the name of the attribute, it's made it italic. let me go here. Let me just click OK on that actually. Okay, I'm happy with that now. Let me just go here and show you. If you wanted to, then you can actually go ahead and just pick, you know, many different attributes to add yourself. So let me just type font, because I can see that a lot of them begin with font something. So here you can see you've got font stretch, font style, font variant, font weight. So you can do loads of stuff. Aside from font, you've probably got just like text something. So here you've got text height. So you can, you know, decide the height of the text or the differences between one line and the next. And there's loads of stuff you can do. And normally it gives you some sort of hint. So if I click on text decoration, for example, you can actually go ahead and click on something that is an appropriate value. So for whatever reason, if I want to underline it, I can do that. And then remember, you finish off with a semicolon, and then that's it. And then you can see it take effect here. Okay. I wouldn't actually do an underline on a page. I just don't like underlining. But anyway, I was just doing that to show you that it's actually not that difficult to understand. You can actually type your own HTML, your CSS script here yourself if you wanted to. So I've got H3, which I know I've applied here. And so you can go ahead and actually just type it from scratch yourself. So just remember to do your open and close brackets. Let me do font size. Here we go, font size. And then here, look, it gives you the options for font size. So I've got 36 for H1, haven't I? You can see that here. I've got 24 for H2. That seems appropriately sized anyways, but let's just say you wanted to make it specifically size 18. Here we go. You can do that, semicolon. And there it is, this size 18 there. It's jumped down because I clicked on this side over here. But there you go, okay? So don't be afraid of CSS styling. And just for now, for your tasks, it will be enough for you guys to just leave it here or just do your application of H1, H2, H2. That might even be enough as well. You might not even need to touch CSS. But just in case you do, it's all right. It's not that difficult. Okay, where are we now? 7 minutes. Okay, let's keep going. What else? What else? Oh, yeah, links. That's the last thing we need to do now. Okay, links. So we need to link these pages so that they go to other web pages. We haven't made any other web pages yet, but we will soon. So home page is going to go to a page called index.html, which we are not going to create. So I'm just going to leave that for now. Schedule will go to schedule.html. So when you highlight the text that you want to make into a link, you go to the bottom properties area, and then you go to HTML. And then here where it says link, you can just click on the folder icon, and then just double click on the page that you want that link to take the user to. Okay, so in this case I'm linking to the page itself, so I'm linking back to itself, so that's fine. But this is just one way that you can put in a link. So you just double click on that, and there you go, it's done. If there's a page you haven't made yet, but you know for sure what you're going to be calling it, then you can just actually type the name of the file. So it's going to be wildlife.html. And then this is going to be landmarks.html. You just make sure that you've actually made the pages and you have named them exactly this, HTML. Make sure you put the L in, HTML. Okay, lovely. These have turned blue because they are links or they're expected to be linked. Let me just do file save. And let me just show you what that page is looking like now. So if I go to schedule, there we go. If I click on schedule, then it should go to schedule. So it goes back to itself, schedule. You can see up here. If I click on wildlife, it will go to nothing because I haven't made wildlife.html yet. So let me go ahead and quickly make that. It's super easy. You make sure on your first page, you just finalize like the main items that you know are going to be repeated on the other pages. So I know this is going to be repeated, so is that, and so are these links. It's just these two that are going to be changed, sorry, and the title as well. So this is how you create the second page, okay? File, save as, name the page, so wildlife. Make sure you spell this correctly, please. And you don't need to do the .html, it's automatic. Press save. We now have schedule, and then we have wildlife, and then you just go ahead and you edit wildlife. You do not make the whole page again from scratch. That just wastes time. You can select this whole table and just delete it from here, and this table can go as well. But that will stay, the logo will stay, the links will stay the same. Let me just file save before I carry on. Let me just go ahead and see. There you go, wildlife page has been made. Let me go to schedule. Let me click on wildlife. There you go. So we know that the link's working. We just need to finish the page now. So to finish the page, we just need to take the text. So for wildlife, I'm just going to copy that text. and I'm just going to paste it into this section. It's already been formatted how I want it to be formatted because of the page is the same as the schedule page, and it has all of this formatting already specified. Okay, I now need to insert the image that I chose for the wildlife page, and that was a seal. Remember to put in a helpful bit of text that will describe what the image is. The image is quite large, so remember to downsize. Make sure the padlock is locked. Let me just change it to size 200. Maybe make it a bit bigger. I want to see the seal. Let's make it 240. There we go. I'm happy with that. File, save. That page is done now. Now you do the final page. We can just do it from here. File, save as. And then we call this landmarks with an S, landmarks, and it will be .html. Then we go ahead and just do the basic editing of the title. We're going to replace this text with this text. There we go. Control C, highlight, Control V, and this image will be changed. Insert image, and then we pick the picture that suits. So I'm just going to type castle. There we go. So remember the note I made before, this isn't the actual image that they want you to use because they want you to use the one that you edited. So I think the one that's edited in a previous task, it just crops it out and it has less sky and less water and less sides. That's what it is. Okay, so 250 as well. There we go. That's fine. File, save. That is done. I don't think there's anything else to do. So let's see the whole web page in action, if you like. Schedule page goes to wildlife, goes to landmarks, can go to schedule, can go to landmarks, can go to wildlife. All the links are working. Make sure your links are working and that everything is displaying as it should be displayed. That is the end of the actual practical part of that task. Here we go. So that's done. So all of that is worth 8 marks. And then you move on and then you make sure, it says here, make sure that your web pages are fit for purpose. That would have been the editing, making sure everything's in line, making sure that you can see the information properly. For example, with schedule, this is much better than having it just one line after the other. So we have made sure that the web pages are fit for purpose. Double check that you've followed through on any house styling details that have been given. And then it just goes on to say that you need to take a screenshot of the web page so it can be seen clearly in the Word document. So you make sure you do that. There's a question here which says display the source code for the wildlife page. Let me just display the source code for the wildlife page. So that's this. If you want to go to full code, just go to full code. And highlight the hyperlink to your landmark web page. So it does want you to be comfortable with HTML and be able to point out certain lines of code. So highlight the hyperlink to the landmark page. So here's the hyperlink to the landmark page. Okay, you can do up to there maybe. There we go. So this is the actual hyperlink. That's the actual address of where the link should actually go. And then this is the actual text that the link has been applied to. So just make sure you're comfortable with that. It could ask you anything. It could ask you, questions about an image tag or another link tag or a table tag. It could ask you a couple of things. So just make sure you're all right with this. One last thing before I actually finish. You might be bothered about the link's color. That's easily changed, and that's something perhaps we should do from the schedule, but it will be quick to do now anyway. So let me just quickly show you how you can make sure that these links are not blue, which is the default color, if you like, for links. We can change it to dark green. So where you've got page properties, you can click on links. So we normally have appearance, but we can go to links, and then we can change the link color from here. So you can just specify whatever you want to specify. I'm just going to leave it as that for now. You can change the color of the rollover link. So what color does it change to when you roll over it, for example? I might change it to a darker color, and I'll just leave the others, and I'll apply that, and I'll just see what happens in live view. So when you roll over, you can see that the colors are changing. Obviously, that's a visited page. That's why it's been changed in terms of color, but you can do that. So you can actually do that at the beginning if you wanted to, but it's fine otherwise. Okay, go ahead and give that task a go. I hope you were doing it as we're going along anyway. Any questions? Please ask.